differently.
The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority held a sensitization workshop for youth, women and persons with disability on access to government procurement opportunities on 3rd June this year. The aim was to facilitate youth, women and persons with disability-owned enterprises to access government procurement.
The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory, EPRA, held a sensitization workshop for youth, women and persons with disabilities on access to government procurement opportunities. The aim of the workshop was to enlighten the special groups on available procurement opportunities and the bidding process.
The Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, PPRA, has introduced new standard tender documents. And they cover the following broad areas. One area is goods. There's a tender document for supply of goods. Another one for specialized goods. So that one, number one there, is supply of goods, general goods. Then, number two, specialized goods. For example, textbooks and reading materials. So such a tender document, number two there, would be very much useful for education institutions, primary schools, secondary schools, colleges, universities. They would very much need to use it. But if you also find yourself, or any other public entity that finds itself needing to procure books, then they can also use that. Then there is specialized goods, say pharmaceuticals, non-pharmaceuticals, vaccines, and all those things that are about pharmaceuticals, medical field. There's a document for that. So something like Ministry of Health, a procuring entity like KEMSA, hospitals, health centers, any procuring entity that is in the medical field would find that tender document very essential.
Understand the requirement. Know your qualifications. Don't punch above your weight so that you go for a very complicated open tender which you cannot fail and become successful. But please engage with the right government department for you to be assisted. Late payment, it is your right to be paid on time. If you are not paid on time, demand to be given interest on overdue amounts.
To benefit from these procurement opportunities, there are a number of logistics to be followed.
Pre-qualification, on the other hand, is a thorough process, a more thorough process, where entities or procuring entities must either pre-qualify every year or every 2 years. And there's a requirement to advertise, and they're pre-qualifying for complex and specialized goods, works, and services. Okay? So the procuring entities pre-qualify for complex goods, works, and services. So these are services or goods or works that cannot easily be obtainable from any supplier.
According to Jason Siiku, an entrepreneur at Zenop Enterprises, the AGPO program has been of benefit to him.
I got this invitation through email, which they have always communicated to us through, and it is, as usual, it's educative. The only thing that I would like possibly to be added is that one, the tender document is too long and has got some repetitive information which needs to be revised. Two, we have problems with, particularly as PWD entrepreneurs, we have a problem with payment. Two, funding, and this is very important. Because when our president, His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, started this program, it was meant to elevate us. But it has turned out that most of the people that gain in this venture have become people who have no disadvantage at all. Many of them are people who are able, and those that are possibly maybe lucky, PWDs who are lucky, are those that are manipulated by the rich men of this society. They take advantage of them, they get into their companies, claim that they are giving them 70% of the procurement, but it's only to get the certificate. After they have gotten the certificate, they get the business, a PWD end up getting possibly even 10% of the total proceeds. This thing must come to a stop, and particularly I would like to address National Council for Persons with Disability to follow up with us who are in the field, so that we can be able to create a database to identify which companies that belong to PWDs are genuine and which ones are not genuine.
Some participants suggested that AGPO be reviewed or else it remains irrelevant.
When you send bids or quotations, you say that the law says that after the evaluation, one must get a debriefing, isn't it? I don't know if this is the practice. I have sent a number of quotations and I have never received any debriefing from EPRA. I want to know whether I want these quotations and if my letters are still staying in your offices. Because if that is the law, then why haven't I received the debriefings? Then lastly, also in one of the procuring entities, I did bid for a tender. And I never knew of the results. But one of my friends had bid, sent me a letter for debriefing. And in this letter, I had won the tender. I had been awarded. But I never received my letters. So I waited until the final day. And then I did confront the procuring entity to know why I didn't have my letter. And I even checked in the registry. There was nothing, no communication. So in such an instance, how can you be able to address such an issue?
The advantage of the AGPO people, initiated by the president some few years ago, it was meant to benefit the disadvantaged people. But now it is appearing that the terms and conditions may be produced by the PPRA. They are meant to suckle in out of the AGPO people another clique of people that maybe will be suppliers under AGPO. So it doesn't make any sense to say that AGPO is for disadvantaged people. Then you put terms and conditions that disqualify the AGPO people. So in my view, this is what I would suggest. Because this document that was submitted to us here, it is a familiar document. I have seen it in another forum. It may call for another forum where we review the AGPO. Otherwise, AGPO will remain irrelevant.
With all the government tenders set aside annually for AGPO companies, there is a need for more enterprises to participate in public procurement and reap the benefits.
I've been able to learn more about PPRA on the issue of raising complaints. I've also known that I have a right to consult and find out in case I have a grievance on the procedure that is to be followed. I've also learned that AGPO, nowadays you can do it online and it is available within a short time, because previously you used to wait for two weeks to around a month, but I'm learning that the system is now faster. I've had opportunities in my capacity as previously as a youth and now as a woman that have allowed me to trade and get tenders from the government. So maybe with time, because we are many, I think as we were being told, keep on trying, don't give up. Even if you have not gotten that particular time that you're anticipating, one day you will get. There's a time, I think between 2017 to 2019, I would apply and keep on getting regrets. But I think from 2019, it's like once you already have like an LPU, evidence that you're able to deliver, somehow you start getting into the system. So persistence in business is very important. Even if you're getting those small ones, as much as you're aiming for the higher ones, the small ones are a source of encouragement.